Okay, so in this video resource, we're going to be graphing, instead of sine of x, we're going to be graphing y equals cosine of x. Okay? And I apologize for the video glitching. I have no idea what's going on, but we're going to give it our best shot. Okay? Now, it's going to be very similar to when we graphed sine of x, except that instead of looking at our coordinates for our unit circle for the y component, right, for sine, now instead we're going to be looking at the x component for each coordinate at the radian measure. Okay, so for example, remember that for sine at 0 radians we were at 0, right? At pi over 6 we were at 1/2, right? But now for cosine we are going to say at 0 radians, now we are looking at the x component again for each coordinate. So we're actually going to say for 0 radians we're going to be at 1. Okay? So if I am here with my graph paper, okay, I'm going to say, again, at 0 radians, I'm going to start at 1. Okay? At pi over 6, I'm at radical 3 over 2 now. Right? And we said we're going to ignore the positions in radians of values that are not trivial to graph by hand. We're going to use decimals for that. Okay? So it was easy for us to graph at 0 radians the value of 1. Pi over 6, we're at radical 3 over 2. Again, that's a decimal. At pi over 4, we are at radical 2 over 2. Again, that's a decimal that is not very friendly to graph by hand. So let's take a look at the next one. At pi over 3, we are at 1/2. This one we can graph, right, by hand. So let's go to pi over 3. Let's plot 1/2. So I'm going to go to pi over 3, and I'm going to go to, if this is 1, this is a half, right? Half the distance to that. And then I'll put negative 1/2. So again, at pi over 3, I'm at 1/2. Okay? Let's go back to our unit circle. So again, pi over 3, we're at 1/2. Right? At pi over 2, we are at 0 now. Pi over 2, we're at 0. So pi over 2, 0. Okay? So far we have these 3 coordinates. Let's continue. Okay, pi over 2, we're at 0. 2 pi over 3, we are at negative 1/2. Again, we could graph that one by hand. So I'm going to go to 2 pi over 3, negative 1/2. 2 pi over 3, negative 1/2. Here I am. Okay, again, this is for cosine. Let's continue. 2 pi over 3, negative 1/2. 3 pi over 4, we're at negative radical 2 over 2. Again, that's a decimal value that is not friendly to graph by hand. So we'll skip it for now. We'll come back to it for decimals. 5 pi over 6, negative radical 3 over 2. Again, decimal value, not too friendly to graph by hand. For pi, we are where? Negative 1. So let's go to pi, negative 1. We could do that one. So now we're going to go to pi, negative 1. There we are. Okay? Let's continue. 7 pi over 6, negative radical 3 over 2. Again, not too friendly to do by hand. 5 pi over 4, negative radical 2 over 2. Again, not too friendly. We'll do that on decimals. But for 4 pi over 3, we are at negative 1/2. This one we could do by hand. So again, 4 pi over 3, negative 1/2. Let's do that. 4 pi over 3, negative 1/2. Here we are. Okay? All right, let's continue. 4 pi over 3, negative 1/2, 3 pi over 2, 0. We could do that one. 3 pi over 2, 0. So let's go to 3 pi over 2, 0. Okay? All right, continue. So we have 3 pi over 2. Let me focus the camera. There we go. Okay, 3 pi over 2, 0. 5 pi over 3, 1/2. We could do that by hand. 5 pi over 3, 1/2. Let's do that. So 5 pi over 3, 1/2. Boom, right there. Okay? Le seguimos. 7 pi over 4, radical 2 over 2. Okay, skip that one. 11 pi over 6, radical 3 over 2, negative 2. Okay, no good. So 0. We're back at 1. Okay? So, I'm sorry, one more. Sorry, I said 0. 2 pi, right? We went all the way around. 2 pi, we are at 1. So let's go. 2 pi, we are at 1. There we are. All right. So now that we have our points, let me get my marker so you could see it a little better. And let's start graphing cosine. Do the best you can. Okay? There we go. Okay, so now we've graphed cosine for one period from 0 to 2 pi. Okay? Some of you might say this looks very similar to sine, right? Except now we're starting at 1 instead of at 0 for sine. Okay, so now this is what cosine looks like. And the last thing I'm going to ask you to do is just go ahead and label your coordinates. 0, 1. I'll do a couple more with you. We have pi over 3, right? Pi over 3, 1/2. This one is pi over 2, 0. And then you could go ahead and finish off the rest. Okay, so this is how we graph cosine. Go ahead and do that on your paper. Okay?